He asked someone, he's like, what are you aiming at? And the person said, oh, that tree. Hey, I'm Manu. Great to have you here as always. If we haven't met yet, nice to meet you, and I hope you stick around. So on to today's tip, which is about better target selection, and specifically picking a target that is not the flag. So most of the courses we play at, the Muni courses, etc., they put the flags in like relatively benign spots. You can kind of aim at the flag, but there's real value in not aiming at the flag. And it's because it turns on like a different part of your brain. It makes you think about things a little bit differently, a little more like a pro does. So for example, let's suppose you have the shot that's say 130 yards. I'm hitting kind of like a punch 9 iron. And if I aim just at the flag or just at the target, I'm basically trying to land this ball on the flag. Now that's fine, but there's all these other conditions that apply. So how soft is the green? Is the ball going to stop? And I'm hitting a 9 iron, kind of punch 9 iron. Am I going to have a lot of spin? Is it going to like stop right there? Is it going to stop, roll back? Then there's wind. If I'm hitting a punch because maybe I'm hitting into a headwind, that's going to add some spin to the ball and have the ball balloon a little bit. So it's going to come down a sharper angle of descent. Or if there's a tailwind, maybe it'll take some of the spin off the ball. And so it's not going to bounce and stop and spin back, as usually you might have the ball running forward, uphill, down, like all these things come into play, right? So the cool thing about thinking about a target that's not the pin is it makes you think it like a tiny bit, and you don't have to get into all of those details I just went into, but think about maybe 1 or 2 of them. So for example, I'm hitting, let's say 130 yard shot, flag's dead center of the green, no problem. The green is sloped back to front. Great. Standard, easiest shot you could basically think of. So the only thing really for me to think about is this ball going to stop wherever it lands, or is it going to bounce and roll a tiny bit? If it's going to roll a tiny bit, or even if it's going to stop, the safer shot for me to hit is to land it a little bit short of the flag, so I still have an uphill putt. Versus if I try to land it on the flag, I miss it by a little bit, and it rolls forward, whatever, now I've got maybe more of a slippery downhill putt. So it sounds like there's a lot of complication there. As I'm saying it out loud, I'm hearing it in my head. It's really not that complicated. It's really just as simple as, instead of aiming right at the flag every time, I'm just gonna think about it for like an extra 10 seconds, 5 seconds, 3 seconds, and just be like, oh, this ball's gonna land and roll. Okay, cool. So I'm just gonna land this, let's say 3 yards short of the pin. So I'm gonna try to hit this 127 yards, right? Am I actually in 127 yards? No chance, absolutely no chance. But A, telling my brain that is gonna tell it, oh, this is exactly what I want. And B, having that extra little bit of thought I put into the shot helps me get more into the shot I'm hitting versus having my brain over there with what my buddies are doing or what happened on the last hole or this other stuff, right? It helps me really kind of get into the moment. So let's try it. I'm going to try to hit this 127 yards with this 9 iron, see how it works. A little bit of a punch shot, see how we go. That might work out. If that's 127, I'm going to run around real happy. Well, come on. 120, not the worst. So I got a 20-foot putt uphill. Okay, that's fine. Or maybe this ball landed and rolled 7 yards to the hole. That was a great shot. Now, there's one other category of shot that you're going to be hitting over the course of the round, like your drives, some of the approach shots on or layups, etc., where you don't have a flag to aim at. And so what we just talked about is how having a precise target is really helpful. Now, here's a caveat to that. So there's a line from Ben Hogan where he talks about, I don't remember the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of, he asked someone, he's like, what are you aiming at? And the person said, oh, that tree. And he said, well, which leaf on which branch of that tree? I like that concept of like having a precise target because it really gets your mind to zone in. But I did try that with trying to get like super precise on which leaf on which branch. And the moment that, you know, I kind of went here and I was like, all right, that's my line. That's what I'm gonna aim at right here. And I looked up again and I couldn't find that leaf again. So my suggestion here is pick a precise target that you can see. And if you watch the pros on TV, you'll notice that often when they're talking to their caddy, they're picking people in very colorful clothing for their start lines, or they'll be like, oh, the TV tower. Because you want a target when you're looking up, you want a target that you can see at a glance, because you don't want to be here, then looking up and be like, what was my target again? Was it that leaf, or was it leaf number 4 or B, or yeah. So that was really bad. I'm sorry. We're working on this humor thing. It will get better. Anyway, the point is that you want something that like you look up, you see it, it's easy, there's no complication. This is where the flag's really handy. And that's why when I said earlier, like the 5 inches left or the 6 inches right, like that's fairly easy to do. You kind of look at it, you're like right there, right? It's not complicated. It's not like, oh, that blade of grass, that's like 7 blades of grass over. And so for this weekend, super simple thing to do, I guarantee it'll help your game because it'll get your head more in the game, is pick a target that is not the flag, and ideally like a target that's very visible and easy to see, even when you're in a situation where you're not aiming or able to get to the flag. So that's it. I'm a small channel. I'm trying to grow this. So if you could share this with your friends and use the buttons and tell me what you think. I'd love to know. Some feedback helps me figure out what to build next. So thanks a lot. Good having you here. Bye.